Well, hello, everybody. I'll call this meeting to order. First, we'll have an invocation, which we see by moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Agent.
Here.
Clegg.
Here.
Halliburton.
Here.
Sanchez.
Here.
Thompson.
Here.
Woodings.
Here.
All present.
Thank you. And next up, we have council meeting minutes from October 13th.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I move approval of the meeting minutes of our regular evening meeting of October 13th.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Clegg.
Yes.
Halliburton.
Yes.
Sanchez.
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Woodings.
Yes.
Agent.
Yes.
All in favor, motion carries.
Thank you. Next up, hi, Cody. We've got special business, a request for mediation.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. I think you did miss one thing on
Oh,
special
sorry.
business,
What'd I
though.
miss?
I believe somebody has a birthday today, if I'm not mistaken. So happy birthday.
Thank you.
In terms of mediation, if you'll recall, back in August, council approved an annexation, subdivision, and denied an appeal, all related to a 67-lot subdivision on about 20 acres in southwest Boise off Victory Road. A group from the neighborhood did subsequently request reconsideration. That request was denied by council in September, and that same group has now requested that you direct parties to mediation. The applicant does have final approval, so from our perspective, we're not sure how beneficial it would be to direct mediation at this time. But that being said, it is fully within your discretion to direct that this evening. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, in reading through the request for mediation, I couldn't find a point on which there seemed to be an opportunity to mediate, given the fact that the decision was finalized. And so I guess from my perspective, I would not act to ask for mediation.
Madam Mayor.
It looks like Ryan Head is talking, but I'm not hearing anything. Ryan? Or was that not for us? No, that's Ryan from ACHD. Oh, okay.
Hi.
You must-
I
Okay.
didn't have a comment. Sorry.
Okay, sorry about that. Go ahead, Councilman.
Madam Mayor, yeah, I agree with the council president. There's nothing at stake for one of the parties anymore. And so there's no incentive or reason to engage in a process of compromise right now. And there's no reason for us to spend money on it.
Right. All right, well, for lack of a motion, then I would propose we move on to the consent agenda. Thanks, Cody. All items with an asterisk are considered to be routine by the council and will be enacted by one motion.
Madam Mayor, I move.
Oh, wait, I'm just wondering if whoever's not muted could mute because we've got feedback in here. I thought somebody was talking to me again, but it was myself. Great, thanks. Okay, all items are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion, no separate discussion unless someone asks that we pull it off.
Madam Mayor, I move approval of the consent agenda. I think it's actually me, sorry.
That was painful here in the council chambers. I hope it wasn't as painful for those of you with ear pods in your ears.
Sorry about that.
Madam Mayor, it wasn't too bad.
Oh, Elaine's got two things open.
What's that?
Yeah.
No, I just took it off. I just closed it. That's what,
We good?
yeah, it was me. I was still signed on to Zoom because I was, and I don't know why it did that because I didn't do it before.
Okay, I don't even know where we were. Do we have a second? Think so.
Second.
No, we did not.
Okay, now we do. Thank you. And clerk, will you please call the roll?
Clegg,
Yes.
Halliburton,
Yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Woodings,
Yes.
Agent.
Yes.
All in favor, motion carries.
Thank you. Next up, we've got first reading, 2 ordinances on first reading.
Madam Mayor, I ask unanimous consent that all ordinances on first reading be read by number and title only and filed for the second reading calendar.
Without objection.
ORD 34-20, an ordinance CAR 19-00031 for property located at 511 North Maple Grove Road, amending zoning classifications of the city of Boise City to change the classification of real property particularly described in section 1 of this ordinance from light industrial with design review M-1D to neighborhood commercial with design review and development agreement C-1D-DA, setting forth a reasoned statement in support of such zone change and providing an effective date. ORD 35-20, an ordinance amending the solid waste franchise agreement by and between the city of Boise, by and through its Public Works Department, the city, and Allied Waste Services of North America LLC, doing business as Republic Services of Boise, Republic Services, adopting updated reimbursement rate schedule to increase reimbursement rates paid to Republic Services for solid waste collection and disposal services, providing an effective date, and approving a summary of the ordinance.
Thank you. And we have 1 ordinance on second reading.
Madam Mayor, I ask unanimous consent that all ordinances on the second reading calendar be read by number and title only and filed for the third reading calendar.
Without objection.
ORD 32-20, an ordinance CAR 19-00028 for property located at 9,000 West State Street, amending zoning classifications of the city of Boise City to change the classification of real property particularly described in section 1 of this ordinance from single-family residential R-1A to high-density residential with design review R-3D, setting forth a reasoned statement in support of such zone change and providing an effective date.
Thank you. So next up, we have nothing on third reading, so we'll move on to new business under subdivisions, SUB 20-39. Hi, Cody. And the applicant is David Sterling. Is David online? Not here, right? Neither of you is David? Nope. Okay. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. This item is a request for approval of a preliminary plat for a residential subdivision that includes 5 buildable lots. The 0.65 acre site is addressed at 5201 West Alamosa Street in an R1C or single-family residential zone. For those unfamiliar with the area, the site is located just northwest of the Willow Lane Park, just off State Street. The 5 buildable lots in the project will be occupied by 3 attached townhomes and a detached single-family home. It does also include the retention of an existing single-family home near the front of the property. Access to the site will be provided from a service drive along that eastern property line, and then sidewalk, and then attached sidewalk will parallel that service drive out to Alamosa Street, where additional sidewalk will be provided along the very limited frontage there. The site does abut the Greenbelt connection or micropath on the east, and a condition of approval requires a pedestrian connection and gate to that, or access to that pathway. The floodway and habitat along the southern portion of the site will remain undisturbed. Tree mitigation will be provided to slightly exceed those removed on a per caliper basis. The subdivision was heard along with the planned unit development by the commission back in September, and that decision was not appealed. So it's only the subdivision that is before you this evening. The commission did unanimously recommend approval of the project, and we're recommending you do the same this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Cody. So any questions for Cody? Looks like none. Mr. Sterling, if you're on, there are no questions for staff. So if there's anything to add, or if you'd like to let us know you're in agreement with the staff report, we can move on from there. So the record will reflect that Mr. Sterling, the applicant or applicant's rep, isn't with us. And so with that, I think the issue is properly before the council.
Madam Mayor, I move approval of the Freer Townhomes subdivision, SUB 20-39, Boise City preliminary plat.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Clegg,
Yes.
Halliburton,
Yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Woodings,
Yes.
Agent.
Yes.
All in favor, motion carries.
Thank you. And next up, under public hearings, we have CAR 20-10.
Madam Mayor, members of council, this item is a request to rezone a roughly 1 acre parcel from LOD or limited office with design review to M1D or light industrial with design review. The property is addressed at 1976 South Century Way, which is generally located south of the interstate or just east of Cole Road. I think this rezone could probably be considered more of a cleanup than anything. It's really almost the last of industrial zoning in the area, or last of this zoning in the area. It's probably reflective of a historic use of the property that's no longer prevalent. The property is designated industrial on the land use map and supported by policies outlined in your packet. As you can see here, the overwhelming majority of zoning in the area is actually already industrial, including everything that surrounds the subject property. The application was unopposed by the public or commenting agencies at the commission hearing in September. We do remain unaware of any opposition at this time. And so with that, we are recommending approval of the rezone this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for staff?
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
quick question, just curious, really. There is a building on the site already. It looks like it's an industrial building. Will that be staying and be continue to be used?
Madam Mayor, Councilmember Clegg, that's my understanding. Sometimes these buildings have evolved where they were sort of a hybrid office industrial space with different contractors and things, but I'm unaware of demolition right now.
Okay, thank you.
Others? Okay, with that, we will hear from the applicant. Are you all the applicant for this issue? Okay. So I have on my, I have on my notes that item number 2 on here is withdrawn. Is that still the case, or is that not so?
Madam Mayor, the appeal portion of it is withdrawn. We'd need to have a brief hearing and discussion on this subdivision.
Okay, great. Okay, so that was just an aside. I just wanted to make sure that we were,
Madam Mayor, just to clarify, we are on CAR 20-00010.
yeah, sorry. I was
Yeah.
just wondering about the next item because I realized that Ethan's here too, which is the next item.
And I just wanted to let you know that the applicant Lori Bennett is
Yes.
online.
Great, Lori, welcome.
Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes, your volume's low, but yes, we can
Okay.
hear you.
Okay, I'll try to scoot in and turn up my volume.
That's much better. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic. Madam Mayor and City Council members, I appreciate the opportunity to bring this request before you for this rezoning. My name is Lori Bennett. I'm at 532 North Clet Road in Grandview, Idaho, and I'm the representative for Communication Associates LLC that owns this property. And as was stated earlier, after a long-term renter left, as we were in the process of trying to attract some new tenants, we discovered that we were zoned differently than all the businesses in our area. So it is a house cleaning kind of move for us that will give us the ability to attract the right kind of renters for our area. I believe we were in compliance with all the comprehensive plans, and the planning and zoning unanimously passed this. So we're just asking your request to rezone this for us. And there are absolutely no plans for construction. The site is staying as is. And if you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer those.
Any questions for the applicant?
Madam Mayor, thank you for answering my question. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
All right. Anything more for staff? All right, I just want to make sure nobody here in the room is here for this one. You guys are here for the next one. Are there people online that would like to testify on this? We have nobody that signed up in advance.
Madam Mayor, no, there is no one online with their
right.
hand raised.
No hands raised?
No.
Okay, with that, I think that that was read into the record, so we'll close the public hearing.
Madam Mayor, this does seem like an appropriate rezone for the site. I would move approval of CAR 20-10, Communication Associates, 1976 South Century Way rezone from LOD to M1D.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Clerk, will you please call, any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Clegg,
Yes.
Burton,
Yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Woodings,
Yes.
Bajent,
Yes.
all in favor, motion carries.
Thank you very much. And Lori, thanks for joining us tonight. Okay, next up, we have the SUB 20-32, and Ethan will present.
Madam Mayor, yeah, just briefly, you get a break from me now. We're trying to bring some more of our new up and coming planners to present to mayor and council, and Ethan's been with us a while, and we thought we might have a kind of another contentious appeal, but I believe we've largely worked things out and we're down to just the subdivision. So Ethan will present that to you.
Thanks, Cody. Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of council. The next item before you tonight is a preliminary plat for a subdivision with 8 buildable lots and 1 common lot on about 2/3 of an acre located on the northwest corner of Vista Avenue and Spalding Street. A condition to install detached sidewalks along Vista Avenue was originally appealed by the applicant, but this appeal has since been dropped and only the subdivision is before you this evening. The site is located along a gateway street within the Orchard and Vista Community Activity Center and just north of the Targhee and Vista Neighborhood Activity Center. The project includes 7 townhome lots on the north end of the development and a 9-unit multifamily building on the northwest corner of Vista and Spalding. The tree mitigation plan exceeds what is required by Boise City Code. In addition to the trees typically required of the development, the applicant proposes to plant 3 additional trees, 6 caliper inches in total, to replace the single tree of 4 caliper inches that requires mitigation. Access to the site will be taken off of the alley off of Spalding Street. The applicant has agreed to install 5-foot detached sidewalks along Vista Avenue and 5-foot attached sidewalks along Spalding Street. Here's a cross section of the development. The dimensions in blue are fixed. The dimension in red can be flexed to no less than 22 feet to allow for vehicle backup space. And the additional 5.5 feet there may be used to increase the distance of the yellow dimensions, which were the original concerns raised by the applicant in the original appeal application. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of the preliminary plat and approved the PUD back in August. And we're recommending the same this evening. Thank you, and I'll stand for any questions.
Thanks, Ethan. Questions for staff?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, go ahead.
welcome, Ethan. I've been wondering when they were going to let you up off the second floor.
Thank you.
We're back into the building in general.
It's great to see you here, and I appreciate it. So my question, I think you answered it. If you go back to the slide with the measurements, it looked to me as if there is an opportunity to adjust the buildings to the west if the applicant feels like that would be beneficial, given the width of the drive aisle.
Madam Mayor, Council President, that is correct.
And since this is a preliminary plat, if we approve this today, we'll see that finished dimension at final plat.
Madam Mayor, Council President, that is correct.
Thank you.
Other questions?
Madam Mayor, Councilmember Halliburton.
Hey there.
Yeah, question for staff. I'm just wondering, so is there, I think that there may be a bus stop along this route. Is that correct? Do we know?
Madam Mayor, Commissioner Halliburton, or Council Member Halliburton, there is currently a bus stop adjacent to the site.
Do you know if that has to be or needs to be improved when we put in the detached sidewalk? Is there any amenities that end up going in there with that?
Madam Mayor, Councilmember Halliburton, that actually was originally proposed to be improved by the applicant. The applicant proposed to improve it. However, in discussion with VRT, they mentioned that the bus stop was actually planned to be moved further north towards the corner of Nez Perce and Vista, and as such, requested that the applicant not improve the bus stop and that it just simply be moved.
Perfect. Thank you so much for the clarification.
Thanks. All right, it looks like there are no more questions for staff, so, hi. Are you coming up as applicant? Great, thanks. Yeah, in fact, we've got other cleaners too, if you want one.
No, this is fine. I'll move it with this so that I'm not causing a problem for anybody. Madam Mayor, council members, for the record, Penelope Constantikis, Riley Planning Services, Post Office Box 405, Boise, Idaho 83701. As Ethan explained, we no longer need the appeal, or the appeal is off the table now. And the reason for that is that we got clarification from the fire department. We were operating under the assumption that we had to have that 27.5 feet in between the parking and the garages of the townhomes. But the fire department just in the last couple of days clarified and said that they needed that access from Spalding and Vista was sufficient for their purposes. So that eliminated any need to have the appeal. And we're glad that it's gone away. So that's a good thing. For the plat, Carter John, as you know, 7 townhomes, 9 multifamily units. It's got a nice mix of unit sizes. We have 3 2-bedroom and 6 1-bedroom units in the multifamily. And it's a good complement to the neighborhood in terms of housing type. I always enjoy, this isn't the first time I've had a infill development like this, and I do enjoy having them and being able to represent them. So, and we did note that the conditions of approval stipulate wood or metal fence. So we know, I noted that. And then I just wanted to make a comment about staff. Ethan was very vigilant about making sure that we were following code, but he also remained really open to finding options that would allow us to keep the project viable. And there was a great blend, and I wanted to do a call out for that, a shout out, I guess. So with that, I'm done. I would be happy to answer any questions you have.
Madam Mayor. Welcome. Thank you for being here tonight. First of all, I just want to thank you for working with staff and finding this solution. I firmly believe that the detached sidewalk will make these much more pleasant to live in, even if that means a smaller front yard. Having lived with that tree canopy, I know what a difference it can make. So thanks for that. And look forward to seeing this when it comes back to us at final plat. If we approve it tonight, I think it's going to be a great addition to Vista.
Yes, ma'am. I agree. Thank you.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
first of all,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you for acknowledging our staff. We think they're awesome too. And so it's great to hear that you had a good experience. So my question is, at this stage, do you have any idea how much these units are going to be going for?
I don't have a price point for them right now. No, we don't.
Thank you.
Trade Winds does a very nice product within a very reasonable price range. So I'm sure they'll be quite lovely. And every Christmas I show up at Planning and Development Services with healthy snacks. I do appreciate staff. They're all great to work with.
Thanks.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, go ahead,
Councilmember.
Councilmember Halliburton.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch base on bicycle parking to see if there was any bicycle parking or covered bicycle parking on the plan.
Mayor, council member, yes, there is. There's both open and closed parking on the site. We had a discussion with staff. Originally, the closed parking was going to be located close to the entryway to the multifamily. It's that little bump out that's kind of to the west side of the multifamily unit. We've moved it over. I just was concerned that if we have an emergency in the multifamily, you want to make sure that the area around the entry is really open so that people don't get congested because they can't get around something. So Ethan helped us find another location for it, and it's farther away from the entry.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, go ahead.
I just wanted to also acknowledge the willingness of the applicant to do the detached sidewalks. Having grown up in a house in the north end that also had a pretty truncated front yard, but also a sidewalk and parkway, I can attest that these won't feel crowded in the front yards, because that's what I grew up with, and it was actually very pleasant. It was really nice, a really nice place to walk. So I appreciate them kind of being the first to go on the residential development site on Vista, because I think that this is going to be what the norm will be for the future of Vista, and it's going to be incredibly lovely for all.
Thank you. That would be Steve, actually, who made that decision.
All right, well, if there are no further questions for staff,
Thank you.
thank you. Are you here to testify in this item, sir?
I'm here to observe.
Okay, great. So this then, nobody else in the room, unless you wanted to say, okay, great. Anybody online?
Madam Mayor, there is no one with their hand raised.
All right, my birthday present is likely a short city council meeting. We will close this because the record will reflect nobody's online, nobody else in the room that wants to testify on this. So this matter is properly before you guys.
Madam Mayor, I would move approval of Carter John subdivision, SUB 20-32, Boise City preliminary plat at 1821 South Vista.
Second.
We have a motion, and a second. Any discussion?
Madam Mayor, we've got a number of these arterial corridors in the city that were traditionally single-family homes, and those homes have for quite some time not been very attractive to live in. And I really appreciate the creativity of this particular development with both the townhouses and the apartments, and look forward to seeing more of this along Vista and Broadway and the other places where we have this condition.
Madam Mayor, Councilmember Halliburton.
Yes, go ahead.
I just wanted to thank the applicant for the closed and covered bike parking. I wanted to make sure that was highlighted here because it is such a huge deal in preventing theft and keeping, kids and adults' bicycles out of the weather and maintained. So love to see that on here.
All right, looks like nobody else. So clerk, will you please call the roll?
Clegg,
Yes.
Halliburton,
Yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Woodings,
Yes.
Agent.
Yes.
All in favor, motion carries.
Excellent. And if there's nothing else to come before the council,
Madam Mayor, I move we adjourn.
Second.
we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we're adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thanks.
Happy birthday, Madam Mayor.